Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. I am coming to you live from a hotel room, like I was really someplace. But anyways, today has been a long day. But apparently it has not been as long as Diddy's. Now, I was out there trying to fight corruption over there in federal court. I was up there trying to right some years of wrong. But today it sounds like Sean Diddy Combs is experiencing some things. And so we're going to get into those things. We also have where one of the lawsuits that was filed was against, it was Jane Doe versus Sean Diddy and Aaron Hall. Well, I looked on there yesterday and there was actually a correction. So I didn't see the lawsuit anymore. But what happened is the actual Jane Doe decided to use their name. It's going to be very interesting when this person decides if they do to come out and say what they know or don't know. Then, of course, we had the security guard, Roger Bond. So we had a whole conversation about him in the last video, how he was at one point Diddy's head of security is what he's been described as. And people have been asking a lot of questions. Why didn't you say anything? Why aren't you talking? Then he would do these crazy subliminals and come out and say certain things, and then he would delete it. So I would have to screen grab them and then put them on the community wall because I knew that they wouldn't be on there much longer. And we're just waiting to see if he's really going to come out and say anything. But I told you guys my theory that I believe that because he does have a son who he said is wrongfully incarcerated over in Africa, I believe he's trying to send out some messages and he's really trying to get hope for his son. And perhaps this is the pressure point that may get what he wants. But that's just my opinion. I don't know any of these people. We are just the social media jurors, for those of you that don't know. And we just investigate the cases from the neighborhood to Hollywood. We come and we try to gather both sides. We try to be as unbiased, even though sometimes it's very, very hard. But I try to be the neutral party, even though a lot of you guys in the chat are like, I believe he did it, and all of that. I try to tell you what the standard is, that they are innocent until proven guilty, or they are not liable until the court or a jury finds them liable if it is a civil matter. And it's no different here with Diddy. But what Diddy cannot deny is the backlash that has ensued because of this lawsuit with Cassie. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All of those things we're going to talk about today before I finally retire for the night, because your girl is tired, without an R, tired. So if you guys will be so kind to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you are new, I would like to personally welcome you over to the channel, and I am so happy that you decided to come over here and chit chat with us and give us your wisdom and knowledge and your intellect over in the chat. For all the ones that have been here, of course, welcome back. To all of you guys over in the membership section that pretty much sold out the merch before I could really put it on the main platform, shout out to every last one of you guys. You should be receiving your merch, and then I'll get it out to you guys in a few probably in a couple of days or maybe next week to all of the other ones that decided not to be a member. So membership does have its privileges. Head on over there and become a member. Okay? We try to have our second lives over there, our lives over there in the membership as well, outside of what you guys see on the platform. We'll try to do it a little bit more. The topics are a lot of follow-up topics on cases we went over and other cases that I may not put on this main platform. Denise said, hey, Pammy Pam. Hey, girl. You know, I have a lot of names. People have called me a whole lot of names. You know, some of them haven't been so nice. But one of them is Pammy Pam. So if you guys want to call me Pammy Pam, that's cool too. So hello, thank you guys for all of you guys that thank you for all of you guys that are coming in. Thank you. What up? Oh, we got a new Sasha. Welcome. We appreciate it. So I want you guys to go ahead and hit the like button. If you guys, if Dev is in the chat, so if some of you guys end up with a wrench and you don't really want one, just say, I don't really want a wrench. Some of you guys may get yours taken away, but it ain't nothing personal. It's just because, you know, we go on live and you're not really coming over here. You know, you got other things to do with your life. I understand. We don't have no great salary for you to be a mod. We just appreciate the ones that's over here that deals with all the trolls and stuff over here in this chat, because we do get them depending on what our topic is. Hey, Nikki, what's up? So one of the headlines today is Sean Diddy Combs. We all know that he was the chairman. He's the chairman, or was the chairman, of Revolt. So on Instagram, this is what we seen on Instagram on today. Revolt said, breaking news. This was 8 hours ago. I was in court, so I couldn't break it then, so I'm a little late. But you guys know. It has Diddy steps down as chairman of Revolt. So then they proceed to say Sean Combs has stepped down from his position as chairman of Revolt. While Mr. Combs has previously had no operational or day-to-day role in the business. I don't know why they had to add that. He wasn't doing nothing anyway. This decision helps to ensure that Revolt remains steadfastly focused on our mission to create meaningful content for the culture and amplify the voices of all Black people throughout this country and the African diaspora. I'm not even, what do that got to do with anything? Our focus has always been one that reflects our commitment to the collective journey of Revolt. One that is not driven by any individual, but by the shared efforts and values of our entire team on behalf of advancing, elevating, and championing our culture, and that continues. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it sounded like. You know how when you watched, just say you ain't want this bad. This wasn't a good look, okay? Because all of this talking in circles, and it literally sounds like when you watched, what is that? The Peanuts with Charlie Brown, and they had the teacher, and the teacher was always like, wah, 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 wah. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. But nevertheless, the point is, Diddy is out of there temporarily. Well, all the things say temporarily. This doesn't say temporarily, but all the headlines say Diddy all the headlines say he temporarily stepped down. If you look at like the AP and all of those places, they say he temporarily stepped down. But this is from the Revolt page, and they just say he stepped down as the chairman. Now, before Diddy stepped down, there was, he said, that's what it sounded like. So before this happened, see, I was watching to see if this was going to happen. And the reason being is because I know at least one person who was a part of Revolt and was one of the, I think, had a podcast. Dawn Montgomery came out and said, FYI, I won't be signing on to do the third season of At Revolt. And then added them, okay? At Revolt TV, Monuments to Me podcast. I am an SA survivor and I cannot be a part of a show that's supposed to uplift Black women while At Diddy leads the company. And she tagged everybody, so she wanted all the smoke. She added Diddy. She let Revolt know. She said, believe Black women. So this was before. So I would guess that there were probably other people within the company or other people that had programming on there that had issues with this. And they probably, I don't know what the ratings were. I don't listen to Revolt, to be honest, so I have no clue. But yeah. Coco said, I wonder if Carisha's podcast will be. So Carisha's podcast is on Revolt? Okay. I didn't know that. See, you learned something new. Hey, Carmel, Kimmy, Kim. Good to see you. Black Auntie No Kids says, same people you step on the way up are the same ones you meet on the way down. She gave you guys a word. T. Evans said he just stepped down until the next hot story and he will be right back in office. Well, we'll see, because it looks like if Diddy is willing to forfeit, whatever he said, let me see. Let me go back to here. I moved that too fast. He said, 50 Cent has been trolling, right? So 50 Cent said, I'll buy that from you, Playboy, for the low. Because Cadillac and AT&T gonna pull out. I'll give you a few dollars for it now. Sell it to me. Then we can be friends. Then he said, I'm serious. Call me. So 50 Cent has been trolling him since all of this stuff happened. So he was offering to take over Revolt. So he might not have the chance to come back, if they just go ahead and let 50 Cent get his time in. 50 Cent is like totally ridiculous. Like he is just, he don't care. He has been one of the people that has made slick remarks about Diddy over the years. And Diddy ain't said nothing. Like nothing's happened. I'm like, what? 50 knows something. I don't know. He don't care. He's like, I knew something was funny. He offered to buy me some lunch or something. Don't no man offer to buy me lunch. I'm like, to take him shopping. That's what he said Diddy offered to take him shopping, and that, don't no man supposed to ask you to go shopping. So yeah. Hey Brandon, thank you. Thank you, really, B. I know she was just live. So shout out to all you guys that she sent over here from her chat. 50 must be squeaky clean outside of his street activities because he stayed coming for people. That's from Ray Bishop. Right. Right, exactly. Then, while everybody was talking about the headlines of the Revolt, then here comes another headline. Diddy had the pictures and stuff of the Capital Preparatory Harlem Charter School. It's been a lot of articles, him surprising them and coming up to the school. But Harlem Charter School said they don't want no parts anymore. They said that you can go on with your life, Diddy, and we don't want no part. So they said they were a little less wordy than Revolt, but they said following a comprehensive evaluation, a decision has been made to end the partnership between Capital Preparatory Schools and Sean Combs. While this decision was not made lightly, We firmly believe it is in the best interest of our organization, health, and future. Dr. Steve Perry. So there's that. Okay. So then the school said they don't want no parks either. And you guys, you know what I've been doing lately? I've been really, since we had our last conversation and we had our heart to heart that we had on here. And you guys, it's 940 of you. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. So I was really looking at some of the lyrics of a lot of these songs. You know, I've seen with Gloria Velez, who is the baby mama of Aaron Hall. So I've been trying to follow. She's really vocal now, so she's taking screenshots. I'm gonna say I just started paying attention to her, so I don't even want to say now because maybe she was vocal before. But she's definitely reposting a lot in her stories of what people are alleging happened back then. But I noticed it was like a lot of people were saying they had fake IDs when they were doing this back in the day, and they were getting it was just like it's interesting watching putting what happened in the 90s on today's standard. That's what a lot that's happening, especially with the Me Too movement. So a lot of these young girls were like, they did have fake IDs. They were acknowledging that. They were acknowledging they was able to travel with all the video. Again, I don't know. And then somebody in the chat or in the comments, I think on the replay, they made a very valid point where they were saying, you do have parents, and we all know, like we all had, if you had a parent that was kind of strict or semi-strict like mine, you always had that friend whose mama was cool, right? Who let them hang out, who let them do a lot of things, or they had issues themselves where they may have had habits, they may have had addictions. And so I guess you have to put that into play as well on why some of these young people may around that time were able to go out and do certain things or whatever. You said, or an auntie. The cool auntie. Yeah, so you got to take all of that into consideration. But also, it wasn't, things were acceptable back then that are just not acceptable now. You got to take that into consideration. And this is what I mean. Y'all know BBD. If you were dancing to Do Me Baby and you are from the 90s, I'm going to need you to be honest. I'm going to need you to be honest in this chat. And I need you to say, yes, it's me. Just go ahead and put the hands up in the chat. Go ahead and do it. It's okay. No guilt, no judgment, no condemnation. If you were walking around saying, do me, baby, if you're from that time, see, look at all these hands. Yep, look at all these hands. Listen. Look at all these hands. It's okay. It's okay. Just admit you was walking around singing that song, okay? Now, the song was considered risque. But y'all remember the rap in there where it says backstage, underage, adolescent. Damn, over here singing it. How you doing? Fine. We can't sing that no more. We can't sing this anymore. It says backstage, underage. I'm not gonna rap it. We're just gonna go through the lyrics. Backstage, underage, adolescents. Okay. How you doing? Fine. She replied. I sighed. I like to do the wild thing. Yeah. Action took place. Kinda wet, don't forget. The J, the I, the M, the Y. Y'all, I need a body bag. Y'all was out there singing them songs, and they was talking about young girls being underage and adolescent. It was just a whole different time. I'm not trying to condone it by no means, But it's just made me go back to some of these lyrics from back in the day. Yeah. Jen B said, I'm over here doing the moves and I feel convicted. Somebody said, I thought they said I had a lesson. Listen, Liberia. Now, we did make up songs. I did realize that a lot of the songs, I was making up lyrics, okay? If you were raised in the church and you ever got stumped, you know how to ad-lib. Like, you know how to, you know how to make up stuff. Because, see, back in the day when you had tapes, okay, I'm aging myself. But when you had tapes, like, you didn't have the internet, so I could Google these and I can pull it up, right? But back in the day, you had to put the cassette recorder in your tape recorder. You had a boom box if you were cool, if you was that guy or you was that girl. You would put the tape in the little boom box and you would listen to it as close as you could. And then you would press pause, right? And then you would write down the words because you was hoping you could get the words like that. You know, so and sometimes we made them up. We didn't know what they were really saying. But, and then if you was really cool, you had a voicemail, right? Because sometimes back in the day, your parents would let you, they had multiple lines. And when you had multiple lines, you said you would be playing BBD in the background and you just play it for a minute. Then you like, you know, we from Detroit. We say, what up, though? What up, though? This is Pam. Sorry I missed your phone call, but I'm going to get right back at it. You know, I'm going to get to you. And then you played it some more. Half your voicemail message was just these songs. How many of you guys own these voicemails? It's okay. This is the day we all need to repent. That we were playing songs like BBD and didn't know what the heck we was really saying, what we were really, you know, like verbal. I'm like, who wrote this song? I was looking at who the writers were. I'm like, who the heck wrote this song? And how were they able to get away with this? Huh? Remember, too, back in the day with Luke. Now, we know he was doing Pop That, you know, all of that back then, right? Y'all was dancing to that, too. Don't fake the funk. You was dancing to it, too. When he was singing that song, it was so explicit. Like, that's when the explicit lyrics had to be put on the cassettes and the records and all of that back in the day. He took that freedom of speech because they were trying to ban him from radio and all of that. He won, and I think it was the 11th Circuit they were in. He won, and then they took him to the Supreme Court, and he fought that to the Supreme Court and won freedom of speech. This is what was going on in our era when Diddy and them were out. This is the stuff that was happening. You see what I'm saying? You said you were 7, child. I wasn't 7, but you know. St. James said, I snitched my sister off for having Luke's tape. Listen, I wasn't that bold to be. I watched, what was that? It was if you had cable, there was a station that you could buy videos on. What was it called? Like maybe that was a Detroit thing. Like on the cable network, you can pay like for the videos if you wanted to watch it.
We had Video Soul with Donnie Simpson.
Yeah, but that was a part of the Video Soul was the part.
We ain't had no way you can buy videos.
Well, ours you can pay like $2.99 or whatever. I can't remember what it was if you wanted to hear them. And like, yeah. But then if you look at, and you could buy the video and then like you can watch it or whatever. But that's gonna show up on your bill too, so your parents will know that you did it. But the box, that's it. Ivy LaRue. Ding, 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 ding. The box. We aging ourselves like a mug. It wasn't supposed to go down this lane. I was just supposed to talk about Diddy. Somehow we done all got caught up in this mess. You said Black Auntie No Kids said at one time only 2 videos were requested in succession. Pop that coochie and baby got back. Exactly. And were you not dancing to it, Black Auntie with no kids? Like, was you dancing? It's okay. You could repent right now. Were you imitating those girls in the video? Because those girls in the video were people. I don't know if Gloria Velez was in that video, but she does allege that she was in his videos. And I think he said that too. I don't know what video she was in, but we all know all Luke videos was what they were. Oh my goodness. I can't. Look, see, Miss Nebraska. This is just purge, guys. It's just purge. Miss Nebraska said, when I was in high school, I was blasting Kia, my neck, my back. See? What? And look, Kim. Oh, yeah. Freaknik? I never went there, so ain't going to be no videos of me. But I definitely heard of what was going on. I had plenty of friends. Listen, Freaknik was so bad that when the guy said he had the videos and he was coming out, people were getting nervous because you apparently you let people take videos of you people walking around, these dudes walking around with recorders, and you just breaking it down and busting it wide and spreading it open and everything while you just in front of these strangers in the street. It was like a big party in the street. I can't. You said I was in middle school. That's really lined up. She wants to separate herself from us. Like she's not as old as us. But I understand. It's okay. Right. And it was judges, lawyers. It was a lawsuit because people were concerned that they were going to be judged or whatever. It was going to be out how they were back in the day. But anyway, thank you guys for going down memory lane with me. But we have another subject. So I've been talking about Roger Bond. And Roger Bond, we've been on his Instagram page as well. And Roger Bond was Diddy's man. Well, what really made him come to life for us was because Roger Bond's name was mentioned in the complaint where an alleged assault, and Cassie's complaint specifically where an alleged assault occurred. And Roger Bond was there and he was trying to break it up and blah, blah, blah. So he started doing all these cryptic messages. If you want to revisit those, they're on my community wall. He would do all these cryptic messages. I'm going to speak my truth. Then you go back 3 hours later and it's deleted. Or it's time for me to talk. Loyalty. You don't have to be loyal to people who ain't loyal to you. It's like, what? Where are we going with this? So then, like I said, he started posting a lot about, well, if you're not texting me or calling me about getting my son, I'll screw you. So he started using it, I guess, as traffic to talk about his son, who he said is incarcerated for unaliving someone allegedly in Africa. And so he was using it, as a way to get the word out. So he put up his GoFundMe's and Cash App, maybe not a GoFundMe. It was definitely a Cash App, Venmo, payment options or whatever. He put those up so people can donate. And then he'll do that for a couple of days. Then randomly, he'll put another post like he about to say something. Listen. I don't know what your purpose is, sir, but the way Diddy, first it was, I didn't even know Sean John really existed or people really, wore it. So that wasn't no biggie for me. And I think the way Macy's is closing down where we are and laying people off, I just figured, Macy's got to do what they got to do to survive or if they're going to shut down altogether. So that wasn't no biggie for me, but that was just at the bottom. Then you got this Revolt situation. Then you have the school and whatever else is going to follow. Then, he sued. Was it the liquor brand that he sued? He sued somebody. And they're trying to use this lawsuit as a way to say he ain't good for the brand. So that may be gone in a minute too. So if that's what you're trying to do, sir, the money might start. He might have to start really preserving himself. So, and preserving what he has. This is just my opinion. But anyways, he did another video. And this is what he said. I think a lot of people too, it's a mixed reaction because some people are like, dude, can you just talk? Like, why don't you just talk? And then you have some people that are like, why didn't you say nothing back in the day? Like, why didn't you help her back in the day? They don't care what he has to say because you didn't say anything back in the day when you had the ability to be effective. You didn't say anything. So you have a lot of people, even in the chat, some of the intellects have said that that's how they feel, is that, okay, we don't care because you sat there and you should be, you should be culpable because that means if you were there for that event, you probably was there for other incidents that occurred. So some people feel that way. But he's trying to use this as a way to, you said Ciroc. He has another brand, doesn't he? I thought Diddy had another brand. But anyway, Roger seems to be, he's getting both sides, but he's trying to utilize this. I can tell. It's obvious because he doesn't really keep the stuff up about his alleged knowledge of Diddy, but he does keep it up, about the stuff about his son, or he'll hurry up knowing people read it and he got traffic and then he put up something else about his son. So I think that's kind of what his daily on. That's it. Get it. Yeah, that's it. So you guys, I can't hardly think, baby. I left all my intellect on that desk in front of the judge today because I was just like, it was a lot. You said De Leon Patron, he is suing the parent company. Okay, yes. So he is, and we might have to pull up that lawsuit because yes, he sued them, but then I believe they've made a statement saying they don't want him to be a part of it at all because of all these allegations. They feel like he's not a good fit. So let me see. Somebody said, I think Roger is walking. Thank you, Cappuccino Latte, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I was one earlier too. Miss Helena, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You said we danced to White Lines by Grandmaster Flash as kids and nobody said a word. Listen, in Detroit, there was a guy. I don't know if I should tell this story because it turned out he was a creep. That was a long, okay. But there was a guy who at the school that I went to, he would bring in different artists. I don't know how he knew these artists, whatever. So we had Ready for the World. I don't know if you guys remember them. We had Grandmaster Flash. We had Salt and Pepper. Now that I'm looking back, Salt and Pepper came to our school and was singing Push It. Grandmaster Flash. Like they didn't have no kid-friendly type songs, but they were at our school and we was just geeked, I think the most wholesome person that came was, Kim Fields, Tootie from Facts of Life came to our school. That was the most wholesome person that came. But all of the artists that came, now that I look back, the music that they had was like, why did y'all have them come to our school? I was in elementary school when these people came. So that's what I'm saying. Even when, like I said, when Salt and Pepper came, with Grandmaster Flash, and they gave us they used to have singles on records back then. So we had the singles were on the records and they gave them to us. But then the guy, it turned out later, this guy was the person, it was alleged, the guy that was bringing these people. I can neither really confirm or deny because it's so many years ago. But allegedly, that guy that was bringing all them people ended up being a person that messed with kids, allegedly. Like some people came out later that we seen little boy. Like he was one of them guys that was like, I'm going to be a mentor. And so he would be around kids and stuff all the time. Thank you, Carol, for the Cash App. I appreciate it. But yeah, he was one of the people that would come around and act like he was a mentor or he was and, deal with sports, deal with all of that. Come to find out, allegedly, he had been messing with some of the boys in the school. It was a big thing, but yeah. But anyway, again, you guys got me digressing and just talking about every old thing about my life. You said, girl, I thought you were about to out fast Freddie or somebody from the scene. Oh, no. Not fat. No. Not Fast Freddie. For those of you guys that are not from Detroit, Fast Freddie is one of the best dancers ever in life. So they teach us all, you know, how we're known for like line dancing and hustling and jitting and all of that stuff in Detroit. If you guys don't know, he's one of the ones. If we ballroom, like most of us ballroom, we don't just two-step. No, everybody knows the ballroom hustle here. To me, a dance was nothing to a boss. We learned it in like 5 minutes. I remember when Dale seen me do it, he was like, how you learn that? I was like, I just saw it a couple of times. Like, that's what we do here. We do organized dancing. But yeah, that's who Fast Freddie is. But anyway, let me get back to Roger Bond. You said not the jit. I used to know I had this one jit move. I made it look so smooth. I didn't know how to do nothing else with this one move, but I would go to the little parties because back then you would have house parties. People had them in their basements and all of that. So you would jit, or you would jit on the street. You know, like that's what it was. It was similar to like when Motown came back in the day with Berry Gordy. Now I ain't that far back, but when he was here, a lot of the stories that you hear, all of them almost went to school together. You know, you had Stevie Wonder, you had the Supremes, you had the Vandellas, you had Marvin Gaye, you had all of them. They all lived around each other or they went to school together and they would hang out at the parks and stuff and they would sing. And so, no, I did not go to Cass Tech. No, I did not go to the same school as Kwame. But anyway, that's the same thing as what it was, you know, like with dancing and stuff. Everybody be outside like, oh, they just got you on the dancing and all of that. But anyway, let's get back to Roger. I got some Detroit people in the house. What up, though? Thank you guys for supporting. But awesome is, you said, damn it, we have student loans and mortgages now. Them was the good old days. He said, I love how you represent the D, Pam. What up? No, I went to DSA class of 2000. Crystal Marie. Did you go with, no, Aaliyah was like class of 97, I think, because she's behind me. I graduated before Aaliyah. And yep, that's my bro, 313. So this is what I want you guys to listen intently to what Roger Bond has to say. Perhaps he was trying to tell us something. He was trying to answer people's question. I don't know what his purpose was. I'm just taking what he's saying, the clips and all of that, and I'm just trying to give it to you guys, and you guys can decipher what you think it means, because clearly he's just not going to be straightforward and say, yes, I was there, and he did A, B, C, D, and E. Or, nah, ain't none of this stuff true. It don't sound like he's going to do that, unless, like someone said, he is shopping for the right interview, because this would be a moneymaker for his son. You know, obviously his son needs money for his defense, and they said travel because he's in Africa. So let's see.
Or why did you allow? Or why did you
go back?
People ask. It's easy. People say, well, why did you stay? Or why did you allow? Or why did you keep going? Why did you keep going to work? Why do you keep paying your kids school fees? Why? You can't just walk away. It's people that hate being sanitation workers. It's people that hate being police. But why do they still be the police? Because they got bills to pay. This is America. Ain't nothing free. So sometimes you got to stay places even though you don't want to. Now take that.
You know, and at first I probably would have looked at him all crazy until he said, take that. Because we know Diddy is always saying, take that, take that, take that. So then you decide to say that at the end. I'm going to replay that again, Roger. So I don't know how long. Apparently he got a TikTok, because this was from his TikTok. He all over the place, okay?
It's easy. People say, well, why did you stay? Or why did you allow? Or why did you keep going? Why did you keep going to work? Why do you keep paying your kids school fees? Why? You can't just walk away. It's people that hate being sanitation workers. It's people that hate being police. But why do they still be the police? Because they got bills to pay. This is America. Ain't nothing free. So sometimes you got to stay places even though you don't want to. Now take that.
So for those people, I guess, that perhaps were asking, well, why did you stay? Why didn't you just leave? He said he got bills to pay. And he said, take that. So yeah, he's still posting every other day little cryptic messages about he knows something, may not know something, or whatever he's trying to do. But he does not keep those posts up very long. He always ends up deleting them within a couple of hours. And then he starts posting about his son again. So you said trash with a beer. Ray Bishop said he sold out. This is what I'm saying. People want to hear his story, but I don't think he's going to get received as well as he may perceive that he was going to be received, because people are asking, why didn't you say anything? So then somebody in my chat, I should screenshot some of this stuff. Somebody in my chat was like, so you want to blame the bodyguard, but you don't want to blame, just like you're pointing the blame at other people. No, I'm not pointing the blame at other people, but that's just like the George Floyd situation. Because of George Floyd, what was the excuse of all those officers? I was new on the job. He was training me. Basically, they got a failure to intervene. Do I feel like you know, every situation is the same situation that you can get in? No. But even if you did something anonymously, you know, to help this girl, if this was going on, even if you did someone, everybody just has this me, mine, and that's it. You know, that's all they have. You know, they don't care about humanity. I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's about humanity. Like, how do you just watch somebody allegedly get dragged and beat that they got to stay in a hotel room to recover, and you just go to work? All right, boss, I'll see you tomorrow for the next group of shenanigans. Like, how do you even, and then to say, well, I got 4 daughters, so I'm gonna talk. Well, your 4 daughters ain't make you talk before Cassie did. And I'm not even saying that him talking before now would have even mattered, because as we see looking at the videos, there were a lot of people saying a lot of things. We just weren't paying attention to it. Cassie made us pay attention. Her word was worldwide. Her word made us open our eyes and pay attention. They got me looking at lyrics I was singing when I was 15 and 16 years old. Like, you know? So I will say that it may not have helped, but at least he could say, I tried to tell y'all like 10 years ago, here go my clip or something. It's like, no, not all of a sudden. It's like, because she called you out. You didn't volunteer yourself. She called you out in the complaint. Because she called, and this is why I said, with all of this backlash and all this stuff that's going on, if Diddy was if he knew there was any basis to any of these allegations, it made no sense for him to let it get to a lawsuit. That was dumb. I think he underestimated her. That's what he did. He underestimated that she would be vulnerable enough to let the whole world know what was allegedly going on. And he got. He miscalculated his move. He moved the wrong piece on the chessboard, and it's not working out for him. And he's facing repercussions because of it. You said arrogance. What? So Corey said it's not about not comparing, about humanity. If he tried to help Cassie and she ended up denying at the time, he'd be out of the job, sued, and probably targeted by Diddy. Can't blame him. Okay, that's your opinion. Because apparently there ain't no more security guards out here. You can't get no more security positions. I said, even if you had to do it anonymously. I said, even if you had to move to another, like, even if you just didn't even want to work for him anymore and you let her parents know what was going on and you moved on with your life. I'm not saying the level of involvement that you had to be in. That's up to you and what you're willing to take. I agree. People around Diddy conveniently, interestingly, seem like they are unalived. Alive. There's people you cannot bypass that. Uptown Records, he's the only one left. Him and is he the only one left?
Yeah. No, I'll be sure.
I'll be sure. So I'm not negating that. Clearly he had the power. But what I'm saying is there's ways that you can do things. There really are ways if you cared enough to just be like, well, this was my job, so it ain't none of my business. But then now you're trying to make it your business. I'd rather you just don't say anything then. She already told us anyway. It's nothing you can really say except give us more examples. If it's true, that's all you can do is give more examples. And people have sued Diddy before. If you look Diddy's name up, he's been sued before. He's been sued for some things in the past. Some of them have settled. Some of them have went away. We just weren't thinking about Diddy. I'm not saying exactly what those lawsuits were and if it was similar to Cassie's, but if you look his name up, it's not like he ain't, and they're not all business. You know, you're expecting it for stars or celebrities from a business standpoint. They always have business disagreements. You didn't pay, you breached the contract, you were supposed to perform here. It's going to be tons of those. But there are other things, other lawsuits that have been filed. Now, granted, again, like I showed you guys before, some of these people do have some mental health issues, and there are people that will sue everybody from Bad Boys and Death Row. Like, they just wake up and they feel like they were wrong by every celebrity, and they file lawsuits, and they've been deemed frivolous. So I'm not saying that that's not the case either, but Diddy, it's not the first time that some stuff has been alleged. Hold on. My laptop about to die. Did that work? I didn't expect to be on here this long. I thought I'd be able to use the little juice I have left. Miss Helena said, City College, 1991, 9 people died. Diddy found liable. Al and Christopher are cousins. He was sick too. Yeah, we just talked about that, Zakia. But welcome. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Ms. Nebraska said, but the fact that Cassie filed her case on Kim's death date made a statement. Yep. And I think it actually reigned and was accepted more. We are a generation of short attention span. People want you to get to the point. That's why I argue with people all the time in the chat. I'm like, okay, it was live. We were chit-chatting. My bad. Like, it wasn't just a 15-minute upload. They want you to get to the point. They telling you you're taking too long, you're moving too slow, your intro too long. Everything is they want it right now. So the probability of her writing a book about her life and you and me or anybody, I'm not even gonna lie, I read so much on a daily basis. I don't think Cassie's book would necessarily have been in my repertoire unless somebody called me like really B and was like, hey, you got to read this about Cassie or whatever, because I read, that's part of my job. I just read cases and stories and statements of fact all day long. So, but people, how many would have read it? But her putting that in them 35 pages, those were some powerful pages. Kim's ghost is coming back to get Puffy along with the others. I'm just saying, that's what Todd said. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You said, didn't Cassie admit that she lied to her parents? So who knows, folks maybe offer help and she was too scared to take it. She did. She said she lied to her parents because the incident that Roger Bond was involved in, allegedly, according to the allegations, and again, they're all allegations, all the allegations that came out in Cassie's lawsuit, she says that same incident ended up on a gossip blog. And when it came on the gossip blog, she said her mom called her like, is this true? And she told her mom it was not true. Yes, thank you. Open up that. She also stayed away because of the scars on her face. Yes. But you know what? And you know, we all, if you're a parent, you all wish you could do things over and do things better. And I'm sure her mom probably would have felt horrible knowing all this was going on and you didn't know. But had I been gone like that, my mom probably would have knocked on, and I do that for my child. Like, I have adult kids, and I will fly to where you are. I will drive to where you are, and I will knock on your door. You have so long for me not to talk to you, or you have so long for stuff not to make sense. And I need to look at your eyeballs because you know your kids. So I don't know. A lot of this stuff back then was it because, do you think, even as we look at the R. Kelly situations and allegations, do you think that a lot of parents, because their kids are around celebrities, with celebrities, have the potential of becoming celebrities, they turn blind eyes? Because that's what I'm starting to think. A lot of stuff was like, you probably, as a mother, you probably had suspicions. But did you turn a blind eye?
See what Black Auntie said. Talk about you lying, got one kid, you look like you're 32.
Girl, I got a grandkid. What are you talking about? But thank you for the compliment, girl. Somebody else said that in the comments. I'm like, thank you. Y'all be gassing me up. I thank you. Steven said yes, especially if they wanted to be famous. Yeah. I'm just asking. We're just talking. I'm not making no allegations because I know there's a lot of things if I could do different as a parent, I would have done different. You know, I had to do a lot of apologizing as I got older. You know, even to my kids. It's okay to apologize to your kids. But yeah, so you wish you did things better. But I'm just looking back, I'm like, I just don't see that could have been going on and I wouldn't have, I probably would have risked it all. Me and Diddy would have been fighting. If it was me, I ain't saying I would have won, but I promise you Diddy would have known I was there. I probably wouldn't have won. I ain't trying to act like I could beat up guys or none of that. But I bet you he would have been like, I had a little bit of tussle in the struggle. It's going to be a scar somewhere. You're going to have, because I would have picked up something. It would have been a scar somewhere. He would have had some evidence that I was a part of that scuffle, baby. Yeah, I think we all would have. You said, I think people, Tion said, I think people let their guards down when it comes to celebrities. Yeah, because I can see them, especially if you've never had, and now this person may be the door that opens up for you and your family. Because I just can't, because back in the day, they would do artist development. When you did artist development, they would try to homeschool you. So you would have to sign over guardianship of your child. And they would be the ones, because they'll say, you got to do school on the road. You got to do school in trailers. You got to have a lot of these child stars were homeschooled. They did their schooling on the set before they did whatever they were doing. And their parents would allow it to happen because they needed to be developed. That was back in the day where you couldn't just get on TikTok and then go viral overnight and then you a viral sensation and all of that. No, these people like Diddy, Suge Knight, all of them were what you call gatekeepers. And you were a part of those. Clive Davis, you had to be a part of those. labels in order to get on the stages and to get your face out there. They pay for your marketing. They pay for your face to be out there. Thank you, Really B, for the super chat. The bodyguard said that Kim left a scar on Diddy from a corkscrew. Oh, you're talking about Gene? Yep. Gene is the bodyguard that I believe is on Vlad TV and is making, was making videos before the Cassie lawsuit came out. He came out and he has like a 4-part series, I think, where he talked about his being a bodyguard for Diddy. So that's another thing for talking about, Roger was scared and he had to work and all that, because Gene didn't get no care. I don't know what made him come out, but Stay Light said, my mom didn't even let me go to school dancing, so concerts were definitely out the question for me growing up. Yeah, it was a different time. Yep. So we have an update because I've been trying to keep an eye on the docket to see if any of these lawsuits that were filed in a hurry, there were any responses. And so one of the lawsuits that I saw that we talked about was the one with Jane Doe versus Sean Diddy, Aaron Hall, and all the record labels. So you said, hey, Pam, sorry I'm late. Great job. Was the guy that brought performance to your school a Detroit newscaster? I don't know if he was a newscaster. I can tell you what school. No, maybe I should. I don't know. We might do a statute of limitation here or something and open it back up and he comes and sue me. Because I was told this was hearsay information. I never looked it up to see if this was the truth or not. I just was told this by people I went to school with. So, these looking back or whatever allegations. Because let me tell you, so for those that don't know, before I get into that lawsuit, for those of you that do not know, the lawsuit that was filed, Governor Kathy Hochul, I think is how you say her name, she signed that Adult Abuse Survivor Act last year, and there have been over 3,000 lawsuits that have been filed. So it's not that it was just, I think a lot of Black media is focusing on that we focus on who we care about. When you hear certain names, you're like, I don't know them. Some of you guys are saying it now because a lot of this stuff is from the 90s. That's why when I mentioned Gloria Velez, even though she was a video vixen, I had to say Aaron Hall's baby mama because you knew who Aaron Hall was. So some of these names, like people didn't know who Jimmy Iovine was. A lot of people didn't know who some of these people were. So you didn't focus on them. You didn't focus. But there were several people. It wasn't just for entertainers. You've seen politicians. A lot of them are things that happened in prison. So government workers that, some women came up pregnant that were in prison. You're in an all-woman prison and you ended up pregnant. So y'all put that 2 and 2 together. They had a Law and Order on that. See, when you watch Law and Order, a lot of their stuff I don't agree with because of how they do things that's not real life procedure. And it irritates me because I know that's not how I go in real life. But a lot of their stories are loosely based off of real events that have happened. Now, that's true. And so one of them I remember was one where it was a security guard that was going in, RAing people and all of that. So those type of lawsuits also opened up the door for people. I mean, that statute also opened up the door for those type of lawsuits. So I think the Shade Room, they just did a video where they're actually talking to some of the people that sued under this statute. So no, it's not just, So yesterday I was looking to try to check and see what was going on with the Diddy lawsuit versus, all of the Diddy lawsuits. I'm just looking up Diddy. Okay. I'm like, Sean Combs, anything happened? So remember this was the lawsuit, Jane Doe versus Sean Combs, Aaron Hall, MCA Inc., MCA Music, Geffen Records, John and Jane Doe 1 through 10, and ABC Courts 1 through 10. And what I noticed, for those that don't know, this person was alleging that there was some type of tag team already between her and her friend. And this is also one where the attorney said, listen, I'm trying to beat the statute. And but more information will be forthcoming, and I'm going to amend this complaint. So yesterday when I was looking, I saw that it had corrected, it was retracted. So the lawsuit, as we just looked at it, that is no longer on the site. So I was wondering, like, okay, well, where did, what happened to it? So I ended up looking it up again today, and it looks like what they did was the lady changed the name. She is no longer Jane Doe. She has put her name as Liza Gardner on the top of this complaint. So she is no longer Jane Doe. So she is trying to refresh folks' recollection, because she has said who she was, and she's not trying to go under Jane Doe anymore. Because you go under Jane Doe, let me explain something real quick. So when you go under Jane Doe, obviously you're trying to be anonymous. There's various reasons because of the allegations and some of the graphicness of the allegations. You don't want people to know, especially if it happened in the 90s and you have a whole new life. You may have a family. You don't want people looking at your kids sideways, whatever your reason. But you do not have an automatic right to go anonymous. So what you have to do is, if you want to remain Jane Doe, you have to file. And I think that has already happened. I don't know if it's in the Jimmy Iovine case or the Jamie Foxx, but in one of those cases, you have to file a motion. And in that motion, you have to ask the court to allow you to proceed anonymous. Now, you disclose who you are to the person who you're suing, obviously. But there's stipulation where there's a protective order where you're going to remain Jane Doe unless and until the time comes, perhaps in trial or whatever. Or if the court like say the case settles and the court, in that most protective orders, you're supposed to destroy all your evidence when you get finished that's in this protective order or whatever. And the only way it can be revisited is if, like a court, they can always reopen whatever they want, whether it's a protective order or under seal. So a motion has been filed. So she could have went on ahead and tried to do the motion and remain anonymous. But apparently, as of today, she's decided to put her name on the top of the plea. So now we know who the person is. The off-duty therapist said, who is Liza? I don't know. I don't know who she is. I don't know. This is the one that said she met her and her friend, I guess, met Combs and Aaron Hall, and they tag teams and they RA'd her. She believes her friend was RA'd too, or she said her friend confided in her that it happened. Let me just go over so I'm not just making it up. Okay, so this is what she says. She says, this is the one where Epstein's name came up. That's why I kept going back to check. Did they revise it yet? Because the attorney was saying that because it had to be filed tonight to preserve the statute of limitation. So what she says is, the suit arises from the actions of defendant Sean Combs, Aaron Hall, MCA Inc., MCA Music Entertainment Group, Geffen Records, John and Jane Doe 1 through 10, and ABC Corp 1 through 10 in their participation in and financially benefiting from their direct and intentional involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking venture by providing the financial lifeblood and infrastructure for the venture's continued operation. That whole sentence is like above me and my little Juris Doctorate. So it just sounded, I need some elaboration. I needed that paragraph to be flushed out. So I'm trying to see exactly, what it comes out. So here's the summary of the facts for those that are asking about this case. So she says, upon information and belief on or about 1990 or 1991, Jane Doe was in NYC with a friend. Jane Doe and her friend met Combs and Hall at the offices of MCA Records for an event hosted by MCA Records. Combs and Hall were very flirtatious and handsy with Jane Doe and her friend, offering them drinks throughout the night. Towards the end of the night, Jane Doe and her friend were invited by Combs and Hall back to Hall's apartment for an after party. While at Hall's apartment, Jane Doe was offered more drinks and was coerced into having intercourse with Combs. After Combs finished doing his business, Jane Doe, they put her name now, laid in bed, shocked and traumatized as she was in the process of getting dressed. Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced Jane Doe to have sex with her. After Hall finished arraying Jane Doe, she quickly got dressed and ran out of Hall's house. Her friend left shortly after. Jane Doe's friend shared with her that she too had been forced to have intercourse with Combs and Hall in another room. Upon information and belief, when Combs finished with Jane Doe, he and Hall switched and they commenced assaulting Jane Doe's friend. A couple of days later, Combs came to the home where Jane Doe and her friend were staying. He was irate and began assaulting and choking Jane Doe to the point that she passed out. Combs was searching for Jane Doe's friend because he was worried that she would tell the girl he was with at the time what he and Hall had done to them. So that is who it is. Yep, that is the allegation, but we know the name. I just read from the Jane Doe complaint, but she has changed it and now has put her name on there. So, I was reading from the other one, so I wasn't scrolling, but I'll share it if you guys want to see it. You guys know I'm not making this up. I was being lazy. Okay. This is the one. So all the names, as you see, has been changed to Liza Gardner. So it's not Jane Doe anymore. It is Liza Gardner. Upon information and belief, Liza Gardner was in NYC with a friend. And they got a little bit more information. Wait a minute. They were invited to NYC by close friends who are members of a chart-topping recording group signed to MCA Records. Oh, maybe I should have read this one. Wait a minute. I thought they just changed, the name. Hold on. Thank you, intellect. You we don't see what you're reading. Can you? No, what'd she say? Let me see.
Why she said her husband took her to an old school concert, right?
Let me see. And G said, my hubby took me to an old school concert for my birthday several years ago that had Black Street after 7 and got front row center seats. Aaron Hall pulled off his shirt. Dude didn't have a belly button. See, this is why I had to plug up my laptop, because y'all just be saying anything. A belly button injury. That's what I'm saying. I said I was gonna be on here for 20 minutes, okay? And look, we over an hour. You said don't forget rock and roll music had a ton of songs about it. Did. Rock and roll was the first one. So let me read this, okay? Because apparently it has more information in it than okay. Upon information and belief in 1990, Liza Gardner was in NYC with a friend. They were invited to NYC by close friends who are members of a chart-topping recording group signed to MCA Records. So now they want us to go research and find out who this top chart group is. Miss Gardner and the members of this group are all from North Carolina. Okay. Recently, several members of this group have confirmed Miss Gardner's claims in this complaint. They will be subpoenaed through the discovery process. Oh, y'all see the footnote? They said they got witnesses. Liza Gardner and her friend met Combs and Hall at the offices of MCA Records for an event hosted by MCA Records. Combs and Hall were very flirtatious and handsy with Liza Gardner and her friend, offering them drinks throughout the night. Towards the end of the night, Liza Gardner and her friend were invited by Combs and Hall back to Hall's apartment for an after party. While at Hall's apartment, Liza Gardner was offered more drinks and was coerced into having intercourse with Combs. After Combs finished doing his business, Liza Gardner laid in bed, shocked and traumatized. As she was in the process of getting dressed, Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced Liza Gardner to have intercourse with him. After Hall finished herein Liza Gardner, she quickly got dressed and ran out of Hall's house. Her friend left shortly after. Liza Gardner's friend shared with her that she too had been forced to have intercourse with Combs and Hall in another room. Upon information and belief, when Combs finished with Liza Gardner, he and Hall switched and they commenced assaulting Liza Gardner's friend. A couple of days later, Combs came to the home where Liza Gardner and her friend were staying. He was irate and began assaulting and choking Liza Gardner to the point that she passed out. Combs was searching for Liza Gardner's friend because he was worried that she would tell the girl he was with at the time what he and Hall had done to them. Damages. After this incident, Liza Gardner informed her close friends and family about what had occurred. Over the years, she has sought medical treatment to heal from the trauma visited upon her by Combs and Hall. So then she has her causes of action. So really the only thing it looks like she added to her summary of facts, of course, aside from putting her name, is that she was there with the chart-topping recording group signed to MCA. Let me Google that. Who y'all think it is? And they said, according to this attorney, several members of the group. So this had to be a big group. Okay, let me see. What group was in from North Carolina in the 90s, though? MCA? Maybe they weren't even, maybe it was a Caucasian group. Remember they had like the boy bands and stuff back then? North Carolina. Hold on, we researching right now. Because I thought I was just going to talk about her name being put on there. Now I'm seeing something else. Group in the 90s. That means in this new complaint, he's probably going to add them. 90s bands. They bringing a bunch of these don't sound like black people. I don't know. These sound like see, they all had like 50 people in the group. Like a lot of these people that I'm pulling up these pictures, they had a lot of people in the group. I'm gonna figure it out. That lawyer is gonna put it in there though. Oh, you said Jodeci? Oh, but several members. Jodeci is from North Carolina and was with MCA. Thank y'all. The chat doesn't read, but to say several people from the group, it ain't. Well, I guess it was 4 people. Does that qualify as several? I guess I'm being technical. If Jodeci invited them, I mean, again, this is alleged. They naming every darn lawsuit almost. Like y'all was around with the whole stuff with well, no, Velez talked about him. One of those other lawsuits talked about Devontae. Because he no, but Devontae was saying he wasn't going to say anything because in that lawsuit, because he was like, listen, I can't. That's the one from the girl from college. You know, I'm trying to keep up with these people. The one from college said that Devontae, she was cool with Devontae. Well, Devontae was there. That was the whole revenge porn, the video. Yeah, and she said that he said I couldn't say anything because he was Forever My Lady was about to come out, so he wasn't about to say nothing. Keith Sweat, you may be young, but you're ready. Oh my gosh. Look at y'all. You may be young, but you're ready. Oh my goodness. That is true. Casey was with MJB and was very, she talked, and they all had the different addictions. Oh my goodness. I can't. This is too much. I can't. You got this. These lawsuits have ruined my entire childhood. Like, I have to restructure it. I'm gonna have to be a revisionist historian. I'm gonna have to go back and just talk about all of the hallelujah nights at church. But then you get into the gospel artists. Some of them is just, look at James Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at some of these allegations from them. I guess I can't even go to the church house and make it sound supposed to say, oh man. I don't know. I'm trying to change. Yolanda said, "Ooh, let's not talk about the church." I know. I backtrack. I caught myself real quick. I know, Coach Brewski. I know. You look it.
Yeah, it's a rap, St. James. Ain't nowhere see.
We not safe. Pam, you can love the music and separate the music from the band.
No, you can't.
Man, I don't know. I don't look at it the same now. Like, it's a different mind frame where I'm like, yeah, if I could take the lyrics away, maybe, like, some of them may have some good beats to them. Because, a lot of us just like to listen to it loud in our cars. But, I don't know if I could do that, man. But a lot of the artists too came from the church, because you have Casey and JoJo. They came from the church. You have Aaron Hall came from the church. His brother is, what is his brother's name? Ty Hall, Bishop Ty Hall, Prophet Ty Hall. Tank came from the church. A lot of R&B people came from the church. That's how they got that flavor. Because if nothing else, your parents was gonna throw you in the choir, so you were gonna know soprano, alto, and tenor, and know how to harmonize. So a lot of them were background singers for these artists. Yeah. You said start listening to Celine Dion. You said, is anyone suing Russell Simmons? Well, they can't get to him. He in Bali. As soon as some people started coming out talking about Russell, he got up out of Dodge. Snoop Dogg and the Bishop Don Juan, retired pimp, consultant of rappers and spiritual advisor. Snoop got sued last year under California. Really? Girl, send me that lawsuit. That might be the next video. And how did that end? I was looking up this. See, this is why I don't really look at California. See, California it pimps you, okay? Their criminal, their system to get documents, they charge you just to look at a name. Now, all they doing is, ain't nobody behind them keyboards. How usually you could just go on somebody's site and you look up their name or whatever and they pull it up. You may have to pay for the documents. They charge you in California. If you put their name in and you don't know the case number, for them to search online for you, they charge you. So you mess around and you put a name in there, you spell it wrong, you get initial wrong, you just gave them $5. So I don't even look up like many. I did look up Puffy though in California to see if anything was filed, but I don't even really look up too much unless I know the case numbers in California, because they already charge like $1 per page. So like how we just read like how Cassie's was a 35-page lawsuit, you gonna pay $35. When I had to pay for the stuff for Keke Palmer, that was $1 per page, and you've seen all the pages we had. So California, they like get you, man. They get you. Jay Wash said it started in the church with the word baguette. What? You know what? Yeah, CA statute, California statute does not expire till like the end of December. So yeah. You said it was dismissed. Was it dismissed because they settled, or was it dismissed because the case wasn't proved? Do we know, Shaniqua, why it was dismissed? Because I don't really want to pay to go see why, but you let me know. Yeah, get off of Riri. You know, I used to represent Aretha Franklin. Y'all get off of Riri and her family now. Yeah, we know there was a lot of stuff going on with Riri and her dad. Everybody knows. James Cleveland was a part of doing, I think he did Amazing Grace. Because, you know, Aretha Franklin didn't want to, just probably, you know, little known fact, you probably didn't care to know, but now you're going to be like, oh, okay. But with that Amazing Grace that came out after Aretha Franklin passed away, someone had somehow they got their hands on that Amazing Grace. When Aretha recorded it back in the day, she did not want it released because she didn't like it. She was a perfectionist. Yeah, I'm be nice because, you know, she's no longer with us. But so she actually, the firm I was at, she hired us rather, because a guy was before the Amazing Grace came out after her death, he was making money off of it. Like, whoever had it somehow got the film, they were playing it and they were making money off of it. And so we had to, you know, file an injunction, all that stuff in California. But yeah, I remember one time, you guys remember, nah, I shouldn't say that. I was going to do another Riri story, but may she rest in peace. She was a great talent. St. James said it was a bit ghetto if you look back at it now. Yeah. Russell Simmons Accuser did a whole documentary. It was very interesting, to say the least. Okay, Stay Light, can you DM me that information? I didn't know that. Is Aretha's father the birth father of her son or not? Child, Erica, I wasn't there. I don't know. I know it's a rumor, but I don't think so. I wasn't there. I'm from Detroit. I love Aretha, but truth is truth. They hold a lot of secrets. Yeah, Aretha had the best Christmas parties, and you were that chick or that guy if you got that invitation to her parties. She had the best and the who's at her Christmas parties. And you seen for how she did her funeral. That funeral was like ridiculous. She was lying in state for hours. People were standing in line. Then it was about an 8-hour service. It was definitely a celebration of life. We ain't gonna talk about Shaka Khan singing because I was like, what? But yeah, she and then they just settled her estate earlier this year. They were fighting because Aretha used a lot of lawyers. She had different law firms that she used throughout Detroit. She had law firms she had in California. She had a ton of different lawyers that she used. So she had like a will. She started with the lawyer. She had a handwritten will. Cause see, this is how I know how this whole will problem happened because I know her personality. And what happened is she probably got mad at somebody and was like, you are out my will. And she was just crossing people out. And she was scribbling in little other things and replacing people when she got mad and all of that. That's probably what I wasn't there, so I'm a legend. But that's probably what she was doing. But nevertheless, she ended up with like 3 different wills. And all of them were more favorable to one person than another. And so they fought over it. Took a lot of money out the estate because that's what they do. Whoever the personal representative is, the lawyers, all of them, it takes money out the estate when you fight over stuff like that. But she didn't have a solid, secure like will. Jay Wash said, I'm from Detroit. The whole Detroit church scene knows the truth. Yeah, Jay Wash, you're not lying. Yep. That is true. She always took cash because she said you're not going to play her out of her money. She might not have paid you in cash when you gave your invoice, but she made sure she got her cash when she did what she had to do. They settled somehow. I think they settled or something. I can't remember. I can't even remember. I don't know if they settled or I know it went to trial because I was gonna go, but I had something else that day. I'm not sure. I have to look at it, but it did get resolved. Um, doesn't Rick James have a song about she was only 17? Look at y'all just pulling up stuff. And we had our girl Aaliyah with Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, written by R. Kelly. Jay Wise said, but her dinner's that greater grace and then greater Emmanuel was a blessing. You know what? Riri liked me sometimes. She would call the office sometimes and she'll be like, it's Mrs. Franklin. Is so-and-so there? I'll just hold like your girl Riri on the phone. Like, nah, she had, or sometimes she get to a point where it's like, I don't even want to talk to you. Talk to my assistant. So she would have her moments. But you can't take away from her talent and her gift, man. And again, her childhood was no joke. You guys seen the movie, like she had a kid at 14, 13, 12, or whatever the age was that she had. She had kids like back to back. You can't take away from her voice and her gift that she gave to us. But yeah, and she's seen a lot because the allegations of what was going on in the church house from the older saints that are still with us, that tell us what was going on over there at the Franklin Church, was mild in that documentary that they that they played. Sam Cooke. Mm-hmm. Hey, girl, you on the replay? We still on here. I guess she's like, I guess she letting her feel good is letting us know that her comments are going to be a little behind because she's on the replay. You said Aretha kept it all the way real. She did. You knew exactly where you stood and how she felt. That is a true statement. I think that's it. Is that all I wanted to talk to you guys about? We just been chit-chatting like we on the phone, like we on three-way. Remember the party line back in the day? If you were in high school and you just be on the party line chit-chatting with random people from different schools. That's what it feels like right now. We're just chit-chatting. Yeah, she did. Pam, I know this off topic, but what's going on with perfecting? I haven't heard anything after the city council made a ruling. Jay Wash, it's a long story. And they were coming for me. When I was talking about perfecting, they were so mad. I'm like, I'm just reading the document. So they ended up settling. They had a certain amount of time within a couple of weeks or something to like comply. I didn't even look to see if they comply because in my opinion, whether they comply or not, I don't think they are going to bring anything else against them. I think that because of who Bishop Marvin Winans is, I just believed to me, they folded. And they kind of were like, the city kind of had the mindset of they have bigger fish to fry because they do have a lot of huge abandoned buildings that are multi-million-dollar buildings from millionaires that come in and buy up all the property and then they leave and they just let them deteriorate and then they're just eyesores. And then of course those become prime areas to place bodies and everything else in the city of Detroit or for RAs to happen. So I think they just started focusing on something else. So Pam, did you cruise 7 Mile? I actually lived 3 blocks from 7 Mile. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. What happened to Triumph buying the old Northland? Now it's an apartment. I haven't even been by there. I haven't been by Northland in a while. What years constitute as Gen X? Dimples Wimples. What is Gen X? Google it. I'm not sure. What's Gen X, Dev? You know? I don't know. What about the church on Woodward off 7 Mile? You talking about perfecting? That's the one that Jay Wash was talking about. Just being me, Spark says, what's the point of the millionaire buying the building if they're just going to allow the building to deteriorate? Your guess is as good as mine. Well, you have, Detroit has had so many transitions. So you had Detroit, which is predominantly African American. And then one of the reasons why that happened is because a lot of the non-African American or white people went over across 8 Mile. So when you see like the movie 8 Mile, that is the dividing line in Michigan, in Detroit area, from Detroit to the suburbs. So anything across 8 Mile, like they'll say, if you're familiar with Coleman Young, he'll say, take that across 8 Mile, you know. So a lot of the white people moved across 8 Mile back in the day. Well, now they started building up Detroit. So our downtown is better. The River Walk is better. They're building like high rises with they're building high rises with supermarkets and gyms. You know, it's nice. Like they have penthouses and they have like Midtown. They have all these different areas. So now more white people are moving in. So a lot of times they anticipate that there's going to be that same shift because after a certain number of years, there's always a shift in the demographics. So they buy it all up because there was one time where a lot of people that lived on like the Grand River, Mount Elliott area, they would send them checks and say, basically, just give us your house. And people had to fight to keep their houses. They would literally just send them $35,000 and say, why don't you move and give us this property? Because the city was trying to, as close to downtown as you could, they were trying to get people to leave so that more white people could move in because they're coming back into the city. So I would presume, because I'm not buying up a bunch of buildings like they are and just leaving them there, but I would presume that they are predicting the comeback, if you will. And so they're just getting the property for when it comes and it becomes right. You know, it's an investment for them. But they're leaving them where they're nuisance. You know, they attract a lot of crime and people chilling in the buildings and chilling in the houses that they're buying. That was part of what was happening with Marvin Winans. It wasn't just that church on Woodward. He actually bought, or the church, not him personally, they bought properties around there. So there was an article where one of the houses like was being used as a drug house. And it's like, how about you do something with these different houses? But he still has his, you know, where perfecting is, because perfecting is where the old Greater Grace, is it the old Greater Grace? I can't remember. All of them kind of switched up churches, but yeah. The YSL judge got mad at everyone at opening statement. Well, you know, the YSL judge, since I'm talking about YSL real quick, I missed it today. I couldn't like sit there for 6 opening statements, but I knew he has some type of PTSD. He's a Army vet. So his temperament is a little short. So he does have like a dog that is in the courtroom, a support dog to kind of, you know, so he gets, you know, a little snappy. I think the prosecution in the YSL, I've watched her a few times and she thinks she's slick, in my opinion. Like those defense attorneys are going to have to keep their foot on her neck because she's going to try to get in what she can get in and how she can get it. And then to say, well, you can do a curative instruction to the jury and just say what we say as attorneys is not evidence. Well, you know, you can't unring a bell. So if you say certain things and a jury hears it, inadmissible evidence, they're not going to unhear that. So it doesn't matter how much curative information you give them. But I get it. It took all year for them to come up with a jury. Why would the judges not just going to do a mistrial? I mean, come on. It took them way too long to impanel that jury. That was ridiculous. But yeah, you guys, YSL is going on every day. It is streaming. Everybody is streaming, I think, through the same kind of camera or whatever, from my understanding, from people that are actually in the courtroom going gavel to gavel, giving information and reporting. But yes, you can watch it. I can't do it, guys. I did it for YNW Melly. His case, his second trial is a whole circus already. I don't know if I could do it. YSL was what, 6 defendants, 5 defendants, whatever it is. It's going to be a long haul. I've been an attorney on a 5 defendant case. Those of you guys that are from Detroit, I was one of the attorneys on the Hamtramck murders. That mug was long. It was long. It was 3 months, but it felt like, now I guess it wasn't as long as some of these other cases that I've been seeing on YouTube, but yeah. Oh, perfecting was the old word of faith. Thank you. You said YSL expected to last at least 5 months. Yeah, I see it. The Bob Lobo. Hey. Now that's some memories. The Bob Lobo boat was where everybody went from middle school. It was Bob Lowe Island. Remember when Michael Jackson and Don Barton was supposed to buy Bob Lowe Island? So Bob Lowe Island was like a Six Flags, a Cedar Point, but you had to take a boat to get there, and the boat was like lit. So you had a DJ, and we was probably dancing to like BBD and all that on the Bob Lowe boat. You always had the one guy with the one leg, like one jogging pants leg up, that thought he was cool because he was leading the hustles. You know, he was always on there doing the "my eyes don't cry," like, you know, always had one of them. But the boat off the time was way more fun than the actual going to Bob Lowe Island. You looked forward to the boat. So it was like an hour-long boat that take you from Detroit to this island. And so at one point when they shut it down, everybody, if you from Detroit and you went to school, you had a field trip at Bob Lowe Island, period, if you were in that era. But at one point, Michael Jackson and Don Barton, who was we had Barton Cable, that was our cable here. They were gonna buy it and I guess turn it into condos and something, and I don't know what happened. Yes. Yeah, Bob Lowe was where you learn to hustle. Yep. Nah, gross. Ew, I don't think it's the same thing. Someone stole the bra off my Esco while I was at Bob Lowe one day. What? The little front on the your grill. You had the little front thing on your grill that covers the headlights. You said what happened to Don Bar? He passed away, didn't he? You went to Murray, right? That's okay. We love you anyway, Diamond Pearl Gem. It's okay. We used to call it murder left. In the day. When I was in middle school, though, we had like metal detectors at our school in middle school. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all this memory lane. But don't, all of this stuff, it never happened, okay? Because I am going to officially revise my whole past, all right? So I am going to change where I'm not listening to some of this music that's out here. I won't be talking about BBD and how I was dancing to that. None of that. We're changing all of that. All of our music we were listening to, now that we know what it really means and what it says, and we're not just da 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 and all of that we were doing and making up words that weren't there. So I am going to officially tell you I am changing all of that. I am going to come up with a whole new story that I am going to tell my grandkids, because I don't want them to think that I am anything similar to these people that are out here now. I'm nothing like Sexy Red, none of these people, okay? We weren't doing all of that. Okay. You said erase. We're done. We just talked about it. That's it. That's it. We talked about it. There was no judgment zone, no judgment, no condemnation. We have all poured out ourselves to each other. We have confessed, and now we're going to act like it never happened. So, oh my goodness. Let me see what you sent in my DMs. Let's see. Aaron Hall. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can focus it. That is Aaron Hall looking like he has no navel. You can't see it very well. Let me see. Oh gosh. What's this light? Let me see. Man. Let me see if I can pull it up on Instagram. Let me see. Hold on. We cannot get out of here. What is that all about? Messages. Okay. You're going to a link outside. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm going to pull this up. Thank you for the DM.
And I see a lot of beautiful women in North Carolina. So
Wait a minute. Hold on, let me fix it. Usually the sound don't even come on. Oh, I got logged into TikTok. I don't even know what my TikTok is. There goes that. I'm sorry. I can't show you guys. I don't even know what my TikTok is. Oh, man. I might have to edit that little ever and ever up out of my thing. Okay, let me get off of here before I have to delete my whole video. See, it got it where you got to unmute it on here, but it's not doing it. All right, I give up. All right, you guys, have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging with me for almost 2 hours. I'm not supposed to be on here for 20 minutes. Thank you again for all of the super chats and the Cash App. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll be back to do it again later this week. You guys, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'm going to holler at you guys next time.